Good morning, Vietnam. Oh god, I tried that. It did not work. Okay, anyway, right. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to be doing something that I said I'd do in the last video. If you haven't seen that, it doesn't really matter because this is going to be a standalone video. But what we're going to do is we are going to get some stock prices, figure out what the weekly return for those stocks are, and then we're going to send ourselves an email with the table with the biggest fallers and the biggest risers for those particular stocks that we have. As usual, link in the doobly-doo for some of the code because some of it is just boilerplate code and we're not going to write it in this video. And also the tickets file that you'll need if you want to follow along exactly with this tutorial. What else? Yeah, so the reason for this is that... reason for making something like this is that if you wanted this data, you can't really get it anywhere because no websites have this data as easily as you want. So you might want to get, the top 25 fallers for the last week, or you might want to get, the top 10 risers or something. You can't really get that without buying the Financial Times, and only then they only have like a summary of like 5 stocks, maybe more. I can't even remember. So it's sort of something that I wanted to do, so I wrote it and. Now I'm going to show you how to do it. So I've already put some basic files in. This ticker's CSV, you'll need to download that, like I say, to follow along with this tutorial. The email server sample, you'll need to follow along with, you need to download that as well, just because all this is going to do is basically you're going to put your email here, your password there for your email, your SMTP server there, which will be smtp.gmail or whatever.com, and then your port, which if it's Gmail will be 587, I think. Your email provider will tell you what these things are, and this is just going to allow us to sort of get the email server so we don't have to like connect. But yes, so let's start off by thinking about what the entry point will be. So the entry point is going to be this weekly returns file. So let's have a look at this. So what I've got in here at the moment is the familiar function you may have seen from previous videos, boilerplate stuff. It's just going to read from that CSV file. The reason I've put it here is because you might want to actually change it and have it read from your database or do something else. But then what we're going to do is we're going to pass the data we get, all these list of tickers, into our function so that this is quite easily swapped out. It's decoupled, in other words. So let's write out how we're going to do this. So instead of having path here, we want to actually call a method, obviously. So we're going to have, let's think about this. We're going to get the stocks. We are going to get the summary. So if we do something like summary, this will be our stock data. We'll get the weekly summary. And we'll get some stocks. I'm just going to get 5 because this script I'm pretty sure will take a while to run because I've got like 800 tickers in the file. So it will take some time. And I want to have 5 risers and fallers, so we're basically going to get the same ones in the same list for this particular example. Doesn't really matter, it's just an example, but this is so we can configure. Let's say you wanted 25 in your list or you wanted 30, you could configure that but still get all of the data. In my case, I'm only getting a bit of the data because I want to. So then I think what we need to do is we need to have a method that is from the emailer that's going to be called send weekly summary, and we'll pass in that summary data like that. And so we're going to import that. We haven't actually written these things yet, but we're going to do it. So from stock data, we're going to import get weekly summary. This is what's going to be or week summary, whatever we called it. This is going to be the main method that actually gets the actual stock data that we want. Then we're going to have a thing called emailer, which is going to have a method called send weekly summary, and that's going to take that's going to create 2 tables. So what I'm thinking at the moment is that this data right here is going to be a dictionary of two things. It's going to be a dictionary of the biggest risers and the biggest fallers, and then we can actually just create stuff from that. And what's going to be in those dictionaries is going to be the list of the stocks, and the stocks themselves are going to be dictionary objects. that will probably make more sense as we go along. So if we're done with that, so give that a cheeky little save, and then let's move on to the stock data. Okay, stock data is here, and what have we got already in here? Well, I've already got some imports because I can't be bothered typing all those out again. We've got this, which is the same thing from last week. Basically, we're gonna store all of our stock data in this particular little array, and then we'll process it. Reindex column. This is so that we can get all of the weekdays, i.e. the business days, because only stocks markets aren't open at the weekend. See previous videos for better explanation. And this is just so we can calculate the return of the stocks. Fine. Okay. So let's create a method, and well, we need to create the method. What do we need to create? We need to create the method called get week summary, and what that needs to take is the tickers and a number, and that number is going to be the number of stocks we want in both lists. So we want 10 risers, we want 10 fallers, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so then we need to sort of get the data. Now we could either do a method that doesn't return anything and just puts everything into here. We didn't even need this. We could just return the data, but I've got it there. I don't want to have to scroll all the way up here and delete it, so we're gonna have to keep it. So what we're gonna do, we'll iterate over the tickers, and we'll say weekly returns dot append, and then we need a method that's going to get all the data for the last week for that particular ticker. So we'll call it get last week, because that seems to make sense. Passing the ticker, double. There we go. And then what did I say we wanted to do at the end of this? Well, so this method here, this get last week method, is going to return a dictionary of the particular stock we want. So for that ticker, for that stock ticker, it's going to return a dictionary, and that's going to go into an array, a list. And then we want to separate this list into the biggest risers, biggest fallers. So we want to return that in a dictionary. So we're going to have two more methods as well that we need to write. So if we just do the return statement now, we can do biggest risers, and we'll call the method find biggest risers. Now all that method is going to be sorting the stocks by their weekly return, right? And this is going to take the weekly returns and also the number. It doesn't need to take the weekly returns because we've got it in the global context. So if you were feeling lazy, you didn't want to type that out, yeah, you could. You didn't have to. But it's probably better that we pass it the data, because I really shouldn't be using global variables like this. It's just not good practice to be mutating stuff all the time. Okay. Oh my god, biggest fallers, right? So weekly returns, weekly returns, and then we're going to pass in that number that we get as well. So that's the number of the ones we want. Oh god, I just quoted Grease. Bloody hell! It's a fine film, but I shouldn't be quoting it in videos. Anyway, right. Let us now make the get last week method. So we'll do get last week. What's this going to take? Well, it's going to take just the ticker. Okay, so now we could do now is equal to datetime dot datetime dot now. So what I'm going to assume is you're going to run this script on a Friday, because we're going to get data of a Friday and then the last week after that. It actually will work for any day of the week, any business day of the week. It should actually work for anyone, but if you were running it on a weekend, it might be a bit weird, because it might get Friday. Let's say you run it on a Saturday, it might get Friday's data and then get Monday's data, when it should be getting Friday's data and last Friday's data. We could sort that, but I'm just going to assume you're going to run this on Friday just to make things a little simpler. So I'm not actually going to do that. I'm just going to have instead of having now and then getting my date from now, I'm going to have a start date, which your start date should probably be the same as mine, potentially. I always start on the 1st of January 2005 for no apparent reason. I just do. So this is where we're going to get data from. Like, you don't have to start from here. You could start from like 2010 if you wanted. You could start from 2015. It doesn't really matter. You'd actually pull less data if you did that, so it's probably a better idea. But I want my end date to be your end date will be basically now, whatever the day is, right? And you'll turn that into a string. And I'll show you how to do that as well, because that might not be obvious to everyone. But I'm just going to pick a date. I think the same date that I picked last time. Okay, so let's say instead you wanted to use now, right? So you don't have to hard code this date. The way you could do this, just to show you, is do end date is equal to string. So we want to do that of now struv time. Yeah, is that right? Probably not. No, it is right. I'm guessing it's right. Then we want to do %sign for capital M, then dash %sign lowercase m. That's really important that it's lowercase, because otherwise it'd be wrong. And again, lowercase d for day. And what that'll do is if you had that now variable that I just got rid of, that will always get you today's date. So there we go. But the reason I'm not doing that is because we'd have to do some like logic to figure out what day it is, and if it's a weekend day, then we need to go back a few days and change we need to change things. And I'm sure you can all work that out, but it just makes the video longer. Then again, my rambling makes things longer anyway. So next thing we need to do is just get all the weekdays. So we've got this reindex thing. I probably should have just left this code in from the last time, but here we go. We're going to get a date range from the start, pass in the start date. The end is going to be the end date. And then the frequency is going to be capital B for business days. So what this is going to be is basically a time series database, Pandas thingy or other, what are they called? The thing that Pandas has, not time series, the Panda data frame. It's going to be one of them, right? And that's going to basically be all of the business days from this date till this date. So it's not going to include weekends. I don't think it should include bank holidays either. So what we're then going to do is we're then going to, when we get our data, we're going to basically get rid of everything that doesn't conform to these weekdays, i.e. weekends. So that then we don't have to think about, is it the weekend? When we're dealing with the actual data. And then we'll say data is equal to, no, we can't say data. We have to say, because we've got data imported, haven't we? Yes, we do have data imported. We'll have to say panel data is equal to PD. No, it's not. Data, the thing I literally just said about. Data.dataReader, pass in the ticker. The source is going to be Yahoo. There are other sources available, but I always use Yahoo. And then end date, like that. So what that's going to do is it's going to get us all of the stock data for this particular ticker from Yahoo at this start date and at this end date. So we're going to get a whole Pandas data frame containing all that data. Next, we're only concerned with the adjusted close. Now, if you wanted to have more things in your summary, you could totally use some of the other columns that exist. I have other videos on more of this sort of data reader stuff, so you can go and have a look at that one. The stock data and finance one, the one that's got graphs in the, I'll put it in the doobly-doo. Will help you understand that sort of thing. But for this, we're just going to get the adjusted close. And what we're going to do with the adjusted close, we'll reindex it. So we're going to say panel data. Pass in the key of the column we want. In this case, it's adjusted close. Make sure you get the capitalization right. Otherwise, it won't work and you'll look like a bit of a fool. All weekdays. Cool. The next thing we need to do is get the current price. So the current price of the stock. So this is all this is now going to be is a series of dates and a series of prices. Adjusted closes. The current price is going to be equal to adjusted close. Minus 1, so the last thing in there. And last week's close is going to be equal to adjusted close minus 6. So it's going to get us. So today is Friday. So, well, today isn't Friday, but when we run the script, today's Friday. So, and this is a Friday as well, so it is Friday. When we run this, it's going to be Friday and last Friday, right? So it's going to get the close today and what it closed at last Friday, as opposed to getting the open on Monday and the close on Friday, because in the time it closes on Friday to when it opens on Monday, there might be changes in price. So I always do this. And then all we need to do is just return the data. And like I say, you could do some more stuff in Jiggery Pokery if you wanted to have more of a summary, but keeping it simple, we're going to return this dictionary. It's going to have a week ending. I mean, you don't really need that because you're going to be sending the email, so you don't really need the date, but whatever, it's going to be there. Current price is going to be obviously equal to current price. And then we want to get a weekly return, and that's going to be equal to calc return, and I want to pass in the current price and then the previous price. And why have I called it last week close? Why don't I call it previous price? Whatever, last week close, fine, same thing, doesn't matter. There we go. And then of course we need to close off that little cheeky dictionary. And that is nearly all good. Obviously we now need to create these two methods. What the hell have I just done? Oh my god. Bloody escape key never works. Right. So what we need to do is create these methods. I'm actually going to create 3 methods. We're going to create one method that's going to be called by the other 2 methods. So we're going to create a generic, or not generic in the programming sense, but roughly generic method that's going to be get weekly returns. It's going to take the stocks, and it's going to take a boolean to suggest if this is the fallers or risers. You can call it whatever you like. So we're going to say actually no, it's not going to be called fallers, it's going to be called risers. We'll call it risers, makes more sense. We are going to return sorted. That's an inbuilt Python method with stocks, and then we need to say what key we want to do it on. So obviously these are dictionaries, so we can say item getter, one of our imports. So if this doesn't work for you, check your imports. See at the top there, operator, import item getter. It's just a nice way of doing it. And then we want to say reverse is equal to risers. Okay, good stuff. And now we need to get the what is it? Find biggest fallers. Takes a stock and takes a number. The stock, sorry, and takes a number. And we're going to return sort by weekly returns. Like that, and pass in the stocks. This is the fallers, so this is going to be false. And we only want to get the number. Like you might not want to like break this. You might want to just get rid of the number. Let's say you don't want to configure it, then you could do that. But really, you do want to get the number because otherwise it will be every single stock ordered by faller. Weekly return, which you might want. But if you want the number, you got the number. Biggest risers is going to be exactly the same, except oh bloody hell, delete the wrong, oh my god. Okay, there we go. Return sort by weekly return. I should have just copied this. Why didn't I copy it? I could have done some lovely little Vim stuff, but I didn't because I'm a fool. Yeah, I really am a fool. And I can't type. Excellente. Right, that looks to be all gravy. Although, as you know, as soon as I run this program, anyone who's familiar with my videos will know that something will go catastrophically wrong. Okay, so we've done the stock data. We have done the gubbins, the actual entry point, the weekly return. Yes, the technical term, gubbins. So what do we need to do next? Well, we can either do the email tables, or we could do the emailer. I think let's do the email tables because that's more exciting, it's more fun. We'll do that first and then we'll do the emailer last. Okay, email tables. Okay, so in here, what do we need? Right, so first thing to note, we are importing a module called Dominate. This is an awesome module. If you don't have this module, you're going to need to run in your terminal the command, not pop, pip install dominate, probably pip install pip3 install dominate, and then run this as Python 3. Just in case you didn't have that, that's what you're going to need to do. Okay, let's go. So let's create a method that's going to get us a table. It's going to return a HTML table. Actually, it's going to return a string of a HTML table because dominate allows us to create HTML stuff. And then we want to be able to give it the data and the direction. So is this a faller or is this a riser? So if we do def get weekly table, we need to say data and then direction. So first thing we need to do is we need to get the table headers, right? So when we have the email, we want it to have some table headers so that we know what's in the table. Now, the quick way of doing this is to just say table headers is equal to data. The first thing in the data, the first row in the data, and just say keys like that. I should point out the way we're going to pass this data is we're going to call this method twice. One of them is going to be the risers, and the other one is going to be the fallers. So we don't have to reference the fallers or risers because it's going to be already that data, if that makes sense. That will make sense when we actually call this. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, so we've got the table headers. The next thing we need to do is start using dominate. So typically create like a variable called doc for document, and we'll say, just because we don't have to type out that, oh my god, see that? I typed out the word document, it took me ages. That's why we type doc instead of document. Then we're going to give this a title, a HTML title. We're going to say biggest stock, and then give it the direction. Plus, and then we'll just do this week. And so that's where we're using the direction. This is going to either say fallers or risers this week. And then we're going to do this. So we can say with doc, we want to do with table, and we can give it an ID. So this is something as well. Let's say you actually create an HTML website, which I've used this to create websites before. Dominate. We can give it an ID like that. That's just more of an example. This is not very good because we're going to have two IDs with stock table because we're going to run this twice. Doesn't matter. I don't care. Then we're going to create a caption, which is going to be with the table, and it's going to be a H3 because why not? And this H3 is going to be biggest. We could do a plus there, but I'm going to do a format. Ooh, so we're going to do biggest squiggly brackets this week. So then we can close off that string and type in format, pass it the direction. Ooh, isn't that cool? That's a type of string interpolation in Python, which means it's basically the equivalent of doing that, where we're doing this plus stuff, except for I don't have to. Whoa, what the hell happened there? Ah! I've lost all my code. Ah! I literally have no idea what happened there. But yeah, same sort of thing, in case you haven't seen that sort of thing before in Python. Little thing for you. Okay, we've got the caption. Do we need anything else? Well, yeah, we haven't even done anything yet, so we need to say with t-head. I should point out, this bit of code is going to be really ugly because we have to do loads of indented stuff, and then we have to do like for loops within for loops, and it's really, it's just annoying. It's just the way that this thing works, but it is very good. It's a very good module, Dominators. So then we want, do we want a table? Yeah, we want a table row, or we could say table head actually. No, let's do table row. We don't even need, no, we'll do this. If it breaks, it breaks. We'll do header in table headers. No, it's not callable. Don't do that. And then do table head and do header. So what this is basically allowing us to do is this is going to be really extensible, because if we were to change that dictionary we created with the stocks, the ticker, end date, the weekly return, the price, all that sort of stuff. If you go back and go, oh, you know what, I really want to add in like the moving average, well, you can do that, and this table will automatically adjust to that. Oh my god, brilliant. That's why this like keys method is really cool. Oh, keep doing it. How do I keep doing that? Ah! I don't even, I don't even know what the hell's happening there. Okay, oh well. Okay, so, okay, here we go. Sorry, that was terrible vimming. We'll now do with t-body. So this is going to be the table body. we want to go through every stock and create a new table row for each stock that we have. And then we just want to add that to a table cell, basically. Table cell? Yes, we do. So what we need to do is we need to say for stock in data with table row. See how getting indented it is? We're going to then go to the headers for header in table headers. And what we can now do is we can now access, because this is a dictionary, so this is going to be, this little thing here is a dictionary. We can now access every single item and create a new table cell within this table row. The problem is we might want to format things. So what we can do is if we were to do td stock, pass in the header, we've now got that data and it will just create everything we want. The problem is we probably want to format some things a little bit differently. So for example, you may notice I've left some methods up here. Well, that's because I want to format some stuff. So I want to do if weekly return is in the header, so if it's the weekly return column, instead of just doing this td stock header, I want to do td get change single. I don't know why I called it change single. Stock header, and then I want to add a % sign to it. I don't even have to add a % sign. I could have done that in the method. But yeah, again, it's more scrolling, so I don't want to do that. And then the important thing to do here is to type in continue, which will break us out of this particular iteration of the loop and continue on to the next one. Another one we probably want to do is we want to say if price. So this would be a good way of doing things. Like if you have a convention of saying, oh, if it's a price, then it's going to be a price. That means this will always be invoked. So we can say if price in header, because I think we only have one column that has the price in at the moment. We can say td round decimal, round decimal stock header, and then that's all good. Oh, obviously continue. And what do we need to do finally in this method? Well, we need to come out of all this indentation and we just need to say, I don't know, why did I do that? We can just say return the string of the doc, because this doc is a HTML sort of object. It's a dominate document, so it's an actual object. If we do string of doc, it returns the HTML string. So we can then just put that into an email as HTML, and it will be all gravy. Okay, so we're not actually going to call this method, or I don't think we should call this method from this file, because I mean, you could do, but for the purposes of this, we just want to have one email that has 2 tables in it. So I'm going to create a method down here that does that for us. That's the API, as we would call it. So we want to call it def get biggest risers and fallers. Pass in the data. And what we're going to do is we're going to say return get weekly table thing I wrote up there, pass in the biggest rises. See what I was on about earlier with this data just being one particular type? It's going to be the biggest rises. And then we can just pass in we need to pass in rises, and then we want to add, and we can just add some break lines to it. HTML break lines, because it's going to go into the thing as HTML. Probably not the best idea, but this is just a noddy example here. You can obviously make this more extensible and do things that you want to do. Maybe you want to have separate emails for the risers and separate emails for the fallers, which is what I have for the original version of this. And then we want to do biggest fallers, biggest underscore fallers, like that, and then fallers. That's a really long line. I probably should separate it, but again, can't be bothered. So that's what's going to happen. The next thing we need to do then is we need to go over to the emailer. The emailer, I've just imported some stuff here, MIME multipart and MIME text. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to have the HTML, and we're also going to have like a text backup that's going to say, oh, you should totally enable HTML if you want to see this email, because we need that. So we also need to do some imports as well from what we just wrote. So we need to have from email tables import get biggest risers und fallers, and email server import get server, and from email server import get email. I should point out, like, you should rename the email server .samplepy to just email.py, because otherwise that probably won't work. So when you've filled out all your gubbins, then we're going to have this thing called get weekly summary. I think that's what I called it in the other file. We'll soon find out if I'm wrong. Then we're going to have a to address. Do we need a to address, or can I just? Okay, we don't need that. Okay, what we'll do is we're going to create a message, and this is going to be MIME multipart, and we want to have the type alternative, because then we can have HTML and text in there at the same time. I think that's right. It works. I don't know whether what I just said was factually accurate though. I'm pretty sure it is. Then we want to have a to address. So who the hell are we sending this email to? Well, I'm going to send it to Shane at codeyogi.co.uk, like that. And then I'm going to have a message from. From. Who's this going to be from? This is going to be from whatever we're sending it from. So get email. Message subject. We're going to have this be equal to biggest risers and fallers this week. Then we need to have the HTML. Okay, actually, what we'll do is we'll say we want to create two parts as well. So we want to have text, the text part, which will be mine text is equal to please enable HTML, you fool. Should there be a comma there? There perhaps should be a comma. Maybe we're going to have a pause and say, yes, you fool. Maybe not. Anyway, that's going to be of type plain, i.e. plain text. The next one's going to be the HTML, and this is going to be mine text again, but instead of having plain, we're going to have string. Do we need the string? We don't need string there because we are returning a string. So get biggest risers and fallers with the data that we get passed into this method, like that. Then no, I didn't want that. I didn't want that. I wanted this. Then I want to say, by the way, this is HTML. Ooh, where's that? And then okay, there's that bracket gone. I didn't know where it had gone. It was gone. Then we want to say message.attach, and we'll oh my god, we'll attach the text like that, and we will also attach the HTML. Then we want to get the server, get server, and then with the server we can use the method send mail, and we want to do oh, I should have had a variable for this. I didn't bother. Actually, we could just do this message to. I'm gonna do message because this is our no. I think it's from address first. Again, we'll find out if I'm wrong. Yes, from address, and then we want to do the to address like this, and then we want to pass in the message, and I think we have to turn this into a string. I'm going to do that just in case. Then we want to close the server and say server.quit. Okay, I think, unless I'm forgetting something drastic, we should be all gravy there. So if I figure out where my emailer is, okay, I've got an email here, right? So empty inbox. What we're going to do is I'm going to run this. It'll take a few seconds. I'm going to run this. I'm going to switch to the email program, and you'll see in the background the terminal is going to say error. Something's gone wrong. Shane's an idiot who can't code. That's what it's going to say. I guarantee it. It happens every single time on the video. Okay, here we go. Okay, 1, 2, 3, bang. Oh, I told you. I knew it would say that every time. Okay, right. So what's it saying? So, line 21 of email tables, invalid syntax. You're talking absolute nonsense. That's perfectly valid syntax. I've never heard such crap in all my life. I don't see how that's invalid. Why is that invalid? What are you talking about, Willis? That makes no sense. Why is that invalid? Oh, is it that? Oh, look at that. It is that. That doesn't look right. Okay, that's right. Okay, we'll try again. Let's get the email ready. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. I don't know what just happened. I pressed enter too quick. Oh no. Something went wrong. Something definitely went wrong. Okay, try again. Bang. Oh! I've not closed off the see? Oh, okay, right, okay. Email tables. Back to the email tables. Luckily, I don't have to come out of this file. This is probably a problem with having such a long line. I'd have seen that if I'd have got bothered to get to the end of the line, but I didn't see it. Okay, here we go. Looks like it's going well. Ooh, it's moaning about some deprecation. I don't really care. I'm not even importing that. Let's try. Oh, look at that! It's come through. Oh, wow, look at this. This is the extra cheeky email come through. So now, at the end of the week, you can get your thing and it's like, oh, look at this, dude. We've got the return for the week. Notice how I said that this is going to have the exact same data. So it's got this stock at the bottom of this one, but this stock is obviously the biggest riser of this one. Obviously, if you had a greater amount of data and you weren't just limiting it, the data you passed to this to 5, you'd obviously have more data. But just to make it run quicker, I've done the 5. But I just wanted to demonstrate something I said earlier, which was that if we go to stock data, and let's say, for example, we wanted to also include last week's price, we could do previous price. Remember, we want to have the word price in there because then it will format it correctly, and we'll call it we'll call last week close like that. So if we now run the same thing again and go, ooh, it's going to do it. It's doing it. It's definitely working. Ooh, here we go. Come on. Quicker. Yes, there we go. Okay, see now, the table has automatically adjusted. So we look at the previous one. Oh, there's no previous price. But now there is. We didn't have to change anything apart from one thing in one place. Ooh, isn't that cool? And I actually had got the data. I panicked then. I thought it hadn't got the data. I looked at it wrong. Okay, so this has been a long enough video. So hopefully you've enjoyed that. If you have any comments, leave them down below. I do apologise if I haven't got back to anyone because YouTube doesn't let me know about the comments, and I suspect it doesn't let you know about subscriptions either because I can't see them. So apparently you have to click the notification bell if you want to see more of my videos. I know everyone says it's on every video, but I didn't know this. So click the notification bell along with subscribing if you actually want to see my videos, because apparently you don't see them if you want to subscribe. It's like, well, it's pointless. Whatever. Rant over. Arrivederci. Goodbye. Guten Tag. Bonjour.